I'm Mark, and this is the Mr. Productivity Podcast, the podcast that's all about solopreneur productivity, simplified and delivered weekly in bite-sized 30-minute or less episodes. On today's episode, I'm going to be sharing 3 things you should do daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly to increase your chances of success as a solopreneur. Now, before we dig into today's episode, I have something special to share with you. Every month, I host a live masterclass aimed at helping you increase your productivity as a solopreneur. Now, we've covered a wide range of topics so far, everything from gaining clarity in your work to effective daily habits, decluttering your workspace, maintaining health and wellness, and mastering time management, and we're just getting started. If you're looking to ramp up your productivity and achieve more as a solopreneur, these masterclasses are a treasure trove of insights and practical tools. Now, here's what you need to do next. Head on over to MrProductivity.com/masterclass. Remember, Mr. is all spelled out, M-I-S-T-E-R. MrProductivity.com/masterclass, and bookmark that link and check it regularly to stay updated on our upcoming masterclasses. But why just stay updated? Why not join us live for the next masterclass? Learn from these interactive sessions, engage with like-minded community, and transform the way you work. What in the world are you waiting for? Don't miss on the opportunity to propel your solo venture to new heights. Again, MrProductivity.com/masterclass to check out when the next masterclass will be and the topic thereof. So let's dive in to 3 things you should do every day, every week, every month, and every year as a successful solopreneur. Now, let's start with daily. What I encourage you to do, you probably already know the power of goals. You probably even know the power of writing your goals. Dr. Gail Matthews, she's a psychology professor at the Dominican University in California, did a study on goal setting with 267 participants, and she found that you are 42% more likely to achieve your goals just by writing them down. But that's just writing them down. I want you to take that to a much higher level. I want you to write your goals down twice a day. In a regular non-leap year, that is 730 times a year. Now, I've not found any research on the success rate of people who write their goals down 730 times a year. But if you are 42% more likely to achieve your goals if you write them down, I'm assuming that means you write them down once. Can you imagine writing your goals down twice a day? So I write them once in the morning and once again right before I go to bed. Now, I personally use, recommend, and love the Grant Cardone 10X Planner. Just go to Amazon and just type in 10X Planner, Grant Cardone, it'll pop up. I love it because it has a spot for the goals in the morning and the evening. Now, here's how you write your goals. Don't just copy them from the time before. Whatever on your heart, write that down as a goal, because there will be times I go weeks and weeks with the same goal, and all of a sudden, I have a new goal come up, and I write that. So don't copy the goals. Write whatever on your mind, whatever on your heart. Now, the second thing you need to do every day is the plan for tomorrow. I highly recommend you do this at the end of every day. Now, you could do it the morning of, but I recommend at the end of every day, because this is what I want you to do. First, I want you to review the day you just had. You probably had things on your schedule that you didn't get done. So you need to take those things you didn't get done today and then look at tomorrow. Do you have any room on your schedule tomorrow for the things you didn't get done today? If you do, maybe you can squeeze them in. If not, maybe you put them on the second day, third day, or fourth day. But it's important that you write them down. Don't just say, oh yeah, I got to eventually get to this thing. You need to put it somewhere. Otherwise, you're going to forget it. All right? So plan your tomorrow at the end of every day. And the final thing I want you to do, these are not the only things you should do every day, but the final thing I want to share with you on the podcast today is spending time in personal development. That means reading and or learning at least 1 hour a day. Here's something stunning. These 3 statistics I'm about to share with you should blow your mind because they blew mine. The average CEO, the busy guys that run all these companies, they read an average of 60 books a year. The average person, the average adult American adult reads 12 books a year. But wait, it gets worse. Half of adult Americans read less than 4 books a year. So we started out with very successful, very busy CEOs read 60 books a year. The average adult American reads 12 books a year, and half of those people read less than 4 books a year. So I want to ask yourself, I ain't got time to read. How much time are you spending on social media or watching TV or playing games or hanging out with your friends? Reading, learning is powerful, and I encourage you to spend an hour every day. Yes, every day that ends in a Y, you should be learning and reading for an hour a day. Now, let's talk about weekly. I encourage you at the end of every week. You could do it at the beginning of the next week, but I highly encourage you to do it at the end of every week. For most people, that's Saturday. I want you to reflect. Translation, write down 3 questions and write down your answers to these 3 questions. Number 1, what went right? Number 2, what didn't go right? And number 3, what lessons can you learn from the week? Again, what went right? What didn't go right? What lessons can you learn from the week? Then I want you to plan the week ahead. What do you need to do? And what do you want to do? Needs and wants are totally different. 2 different questions you should ask yourself and answer every week. What do you need to do? And what do you want to do? And then I want you to set, translation, write your goals for next week. Remember, we just talked about writing goals. I want you to write, what do you want to accomplish next week? And as you go through the week, I want you to ask yourself, are you on target? Or you would say, am I on target? Now, one of the things I learned from Grant Cardone is never lower your targets. So, for example, if you're going to reach out to 10 people over 5 days, Monday through Friday next week, well, that's 10 times 5 is 50. So at the end of Tuesday, you've reached out to 4. The difference is 46. Don't lower your target. That means you have to reach out to 46 people by the end of the week. Never lower your target. Figure out why you're lagging behind and what you can do to catch up. Let's talk about monthly. Now, you're going to think you're experiencing deja vu. You're really not, because I'm going to ask you at the last day of every month to reflect, again, translation, write the answer to these 3 questions. What went right this month? That just was. What didn't go right this month? That just was. And the third question is, what lessons can you learn from the month that just was? Then I want you to plan the month ahead. What do you need to do this next month? What do you want to do? Put it on paper. Then I want you to set, which translates to write, your goals for the next month. I want you to be unreasonable. That's a term I first heard from Grant Cardone. Be unreasonable. Stretch yourself. Don't go the easy way. And then throughout the month, I want you to continue to ask yourself, am I on target? Never lower your target. And then figure out what you can do if you are behind target. And then yearly, again, deja vu all over again. I want you to reflect on the last day of the year. I know you got a party tonight. It's December 31st. I know it won't take too long, especially if you've done the weekly and the monthly reviews. Again, write the answers to these questions in a journal. What went right? What didn't go right? What lessons can you learn from the year? Then I want you to create goals for the new year. I want you to dream big. I want you to have fun. I want you to get silly. So here's an example. Let's say you made $100,000 at the end of 2023, and then you're thinking about your 2024 goals. Well, maybe you go, you know what? Reasonably would be 125, but I'm going to make it 500,000 in 2024. Don't worry about how it's going to happen. Just write the goal down. Maybe take this to another level and create goals for 1, 2, 5, 10 years in the future. Creating goals is so much fun. So those are 3 things. Well, I gave you more than 3 things, but 3 things you should do as a solopreneur every day, every week, every month, every year. If you stick to these 3 things, you will have success beyond your wildest dreams. So I want to thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Mr. Productivity Podcast. Before you go, if this episode helped you, would you please do me a huge favor and your friends, because I'm going to ask you to smash the share icon on whatever podcast player you're listening to this on, or if you're listening to this on my website, you can also share it from there. Share it with 2 or 3 of your friends. Say, hey, I just listened to this great episode about things that we can do daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly to ensure our success, because if it helped you, it would help them. And don't forget to go to mrproductivity.com/masterclass to find out the date and the topic for my next live masterclass. I hope to see you there. Thank you again so much for your time and attention. And until we meet again, my friends, stay productive and stay positive.